Hi, Taya. It's so lovely to see you today and be a host in my YouTube channel. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And how are you, Ella?
I'm good. I'm good. Guys, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ella. I'm a CBT therapist and a life coach. And Taya is a great friend of mine, based in France. We actually met last year in one of the additional, you could call it training, education places where we were learning all about how to be even better life coach and mentor to people. Taya is a Reiki master. And the reason we are talking today and we are recording this video for you guys is so you can understand the power of Reiki and you can understand how you can be more in charge of your balance and happiness in life by discovering what Reiki is all about. So this is the purpose of our conversation today. So welcome all. Taya, how can you kick us off? Tell us who you are. How did you begin working with Reiki? Where did the idea come from?
Okay, so I have been working with Reiki since 2000, so that's 25 years.
Wow.
My journey started because I got a chest infection following flu. And my kickboxing teacher rang me up to say, why haven't you come to kickboxing classes for the last couple of weeks? And I said, basically, I'm really ill. You know, I've been on antibiotics. I can't get rid of this. So sorry, I haven't been to the class. And she said to me, well, as well as being your kickboxing teacher, I'm also a Reiki master. Would you like me to come round and fix you? Now, I had no idea what Reiki was. So I said, yeah, you know, as long as you don't feel at risk catching my flu or chest infection or whatever. She said, no, and she came round. And so she performed Reiki on me. So she just took her hands and sort of scanned different places in my body. And when she came to my chest, she started doing this kind of movement. And I went, oh my God, what is all of that horrible green stuff coming out? And it looked like there were pieces of green wool coming out of me. It was bizarre, and I could feel them being pulled. And she said,
How did you know they were green?
because I could see them.
Wow.
It was really weird. It was like, I can only describe it as wool, like energy, woolly energy strands that I could see being pulled out of my chest. And as they were being pulled, I could feel them coming out through my skin. It was really bizarre. And she said to me, you can see that, can you? And I said, yes. And she said, then I have to teach you Reiki. So then began a journey for 5 years where I pretty much did Reiki every day. It took me 5 years to become a Reiki master. And it was an incredible journey because I was so lucky to have met this lady. She really did teach me everything I know.
Wow, sounds fabulous. Sounds like the person you want to learn from.
Absolutely. And she's still a very good friend of mine.
Oh, that's lovely. That's so nice. So
Yeah.
it took you 5 years to become a Reiki master. It sounds like you didn't rush the process, which is good, which
Yeah.
is
I mean,
what I would imagine lots of people do these days, right?
well, I think like many holistic or alternative therapies, you know, technically you could, there are 3 or 4 stages to Reiki. So there's Reiki 1, which is self-healing
Yeah.
principally, where you learn the basics and you have to spend a lot of time practicing for yourself. And, you know, a lot of people learn Reiki 1 in 3 hours and they get the bit of paper saying, or the certificate saying you're a Reiki 1 adept. And that's the end of that. But unless you practice every day for at least 15 or 20 minutes and you really understand energy and do lots of different exercises, you can still have the bit of paper, but basically you know nothing.
Okay, yeah. So I'm glad we cleared that one out for you guys, because it's something you need to be careful when you are considering a holistic healer, someone who is not your GP, someone who is not just a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a counselor, but you want to try something a bit different that will help you feel free, free of worry, free of anxiety, free of um, feel some sort of relief from problems, right? Because this is why I would imagine most people come to you, to feel that relief from the stress that their current situation, current life is giving them. Is that so?
Absolutely, Ella. Look, the word Reiki is in two parts. Okay, so there's the Ray and there's the Ki. And the Ki, you've probably heard of Tai Chi, for
Mm-hmm.
example.
Yeah.
Um, or there's the Qui of Qigong or Qigong, depending on how you pronounce it. So this Qi energy is also Ki energy. Qi is
Mhm.
Chinese and Ki is Japanese. And it's basically that means the word energy.
Right.
And Ray has to do with life force and universal energy. So what we're talking about is universal or life force energy is what
Mm.
Reiki means, where I or the practitioner is channeling universal energy to use to heal the person who is the client. And so to summarize why clients come to me, it's because somehow their energy is off.
Mm.
Now, that could mean that they just feel slightly strange and kind of misaligned with life or purpose. It can mean that they feel weak following an illness and they don't have the energy that they used to. It
Mhm.
could feel that they have oppression in their energy, so they feel bogged down with problems and they don't know where to start sorting them out.
Mm.
Um, So it can be for all different reasons. It could also be, for example, I have some clients with anger management issues,
Mm.
and they initially came to me because they were having outbursts at people, and they just no longer knew what to do, and they felt something was wrong energetically.
So a wide variety of problems that could affect us all every day, right? A
Yeah,
little bit like CBT, which is what I work with. You have different types of limiting beliefs and negative thought chains that we try to identify and stop and reframe during CBT therapy sessions.
yeah.
Um, so yes, what is the most common problem, if I may ask, people come to you with? If you were to like give me the three top categories or three most common issues you see people about.
Okay, I would say that they are going through a difficult time would be number one. So it could be, for example, that they're having to care for a relative who's seriously ill, um, that they don't have the time or the energy that they would like to spend on themselves, and they feel that they need some kind of renewal.
Mm.
Secondly, is often when people have too much going on in their life and they need to sit down and have a rethink. And part of that journey, as well as working with the chakras, which I'm sure you'll ask me about
Mhm.
a little later in our session, is just to do with rebalance and helping people put things on the table and to sort out where they would like to start and what they really want. Which is one of the reasons that I was in the specialist coaching training where I initially met you,
Yeah,
to
totally.
try and improve those skills, because, you know, as well as doing Reiki, you know, people really do want to talk, and they want answers to their problems. So that would be the second kind of client. And the third one, I would call it a maintenance visit, where people are already very spiritually minded. They are often very successful people, who, in many different lines of work, who have spiritual beliefs which are entirely their own, and they want to keep progressing, and doing good in some way or another. And so they come to me for maintenance.
Okay.
They just want perfect energy, to be as optimized, if you like, without and within as they can be. And those, I have many regular clients like that who come to me. Some of them come once a month, some of them come twice a year.
Yeah.
You know, but that is who I would say is my third kind of client.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. And so what is it about your work that is really transforming that human that comes to you into the new, brighter version? What is it about Reiki session and how it works that is able to take exhausted, confused, overwhelmed person and make them feel lighter and more confident or more joyful?
Thank you for asking that question. It's not going to be a short answer.
It's
First,
something to do with those chakras, right?
it is indeed
Right.
something to do with those chakras, but not only those chakras. So through life, our energy is affected in numerous different ways. I believe everything is energy. Everything around us, everything we're affected by, our emotions give energy. When we receive information from people, we're receiving their energy, their emotions. Everything is to do with energy and vibrations. And what I do is I go to each of the different energy centers known as the chakras. Okay, people talk about the 7 major chakras, but you actually have hundreds throughout your body, major and minor chakras.
Okay.
So I go through the main chakras, of which I usually work on 8, and then numerous chakras throughout the body, which is very personal to each person that I Reiki as to what they need. And when I'm open and channeling universal energy, I can feel the energy as a kind of vibration between my hands, and I can hear the sound of the energy. I know that sounds a little bit weird, as I'm fixed on those centres. And I'm also able to see how they are blocked. So if you can imagine you have, let's say, an energy centre here, and that energy centre is just going too fast, then I have a good understanding of that person having a very fast thought process. And through the blockages I can see, I can understand what kinds of subjects are affecting them at this time.
Right.
Those blockages always serve no purpose to us whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I remove those blockages and replace them, because you can't leave holes in people, obviously, using Reiki energy. And therefore, that chakra is then going at a nice speed, vibrating as it should. It has beautiful, clear energy. And, you know, you're then, in this case, having a good spiritual connection. In this one, your intuition is working correctly. In this one, you have clear communication and so forth. Once I've done that, I will align all of the chakras and make sure the energy is beautifully balanced between each of the chakras. And then I look at the aura, because you have different layers in your auras, and each of those serves a purpose as well. Each is related to a chakra. And so for people, for example, who are suffering from fatigue, their aura can be reduced, the layers might need plumping up.
Mm.
And finally, particularly for people who are emotional or empathic, often we're walking around like an open book,
Mm.
and people's energy really, really get to affect us. So I put in layers of energetic protection at the end. That was a quick version.
Wow, thank you.
Then I explained to my client exactly what I saw, what the blockages were, and the clients are often very, very keen to know
Hmm.
what problems I found and what
Yeah.
blockages I found and how they'd been affected and how big the blockages were. And then we discuss a plan as to what they need to do to maintain good energy moving forwards. And that might be things like improving their diet, because sometimes I can say to them, did you have pizza for lunch? And people will go, how did you know that? And it's like, I was in your stomach chakra. So we'll discuss that. I will be able to see the state of their kidneys, for example, and know if they're drinking enough water or perhaps too much alcohol or what have you. And again,
Hmm.
it's up to the client to share or not what they want to discuss. But really, most interesting is the emotional problems and the emotional blockages and baggages that we get through going
Yeah.
through life. You
Yeah,
know, it
of
can be
course. Yeah.
through grief, separation, you name it. We all suffer from these things.
Yeah.
And when you can remove those blockages and liberate a person from them,
Mm.
it makes all the difference to the person. It can change their energy overnight.
Wow, that sounds fabulous and unbelievable at the same time. But since I'm someone who did have a Reiki session before, I can guarantee you guys that Taya knows what she's talking about. Being someone who spent 5 years alone just on her training and education and practical stuff, to be who she is today and be able to offer this amazing service to her customers. So this is all very interesting. You mentioned, Taya, the word aura.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I know some of us know what it is, but there are some people watching this who have no idea what aura is. Can you
Okay.
explain what is aura and how does it affect us? And what
Okay.
do we need it for?
Okay. So your energy doesn't just end on your scalp and on your skin. Your energy continues outwards from your body in a series of different layers, and each of those layers has a different vibration.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, possibly to try and to explain to somebody that doesn't know, if you were, for example, to turn facing a wall and somebody crept into a room really silently behind you, you would be able to sense their energy in your auric field before they could touch you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So most of the time that is around a meter or maximum meter and a half away. And that is how far your energy field goes out. Another explanation could be if you're in a room of crowded people, there are some people that you feel very happy to be quite close to, and
Mm.
others you feel utterly repelled by. And you're not touching them, but it's just that you don't like being in their energy space. And that's your aura kind of
Mm.
sensing somebody else's energy.
So it's also an ability to, it seems like aura is communicating with us or staying connected to your aura
Yeah,
gives you a chance to understand yourself better and your life choices, right?
absolutely.
Which is quite cool.
Yeah,
And is giving us a sense of protection in a way, because it is our what many people call personal space, right?
yeah,
It is in physics energetic field, and we actually have also impact on how well that energetic field is protecting us, or how is it not protecting us. What can we do to improve our aura and really boost those protection skills and be really aware when something's bad for us?
okay. Well, sorry to mention the obvious thing about self-care first, but in all, I mean, obviously Reiki, I've mentioned, is Japanese, but you know, the whole Reiki thing and to do with the chakras, it is an Eastern philosophy. The chakras actually don't originate at all in either China or Japan, but in India. So in these Eastern beliefs, which we're now really starting to understand in the West, mind, body, spirit connection is very important. So the first thing that you need to do to have a beautiful, big, fluffy aura that's full of protection is to really look after yourself. That means drinking enough water, eating well, doing what you need to look after your body, but also your emotional and your spiritual well-being. Okay, because let's say you're in a very emotionally difficult relationship and you feel not at one with yourself and with your emotions and what's going on around you, then you suddenly just don't really know where you are with in any respect. Sometimes, you know, you might feel comfortable at work because it's a safe haven, or you might start doubting people at work because you just don't feel sure about yourself. And all of these affect your external energy. Okay, so the whole thing really is to do with balance. Okay, if you
Okay.
look after your inner chakras, those outer layers are also affected. Do also listen to your intuition, would be my advice, because you know your intuition is really important. Again, in our guts we have multitudes of neurons that we often forget, and so this whole thing about gut instinct, science is just discovering that it's actually true. And so if you feel something is off with the person's energy and you're really sensing that, then listen to your own intuition and step away from it. You know, personally, I don't do politics, and sometimes people might think I'm a bit rude for just sort of leaping back out of some sort of negative energy situation. But I'm doing that to protect my own energy if I do it.
So great. So thank you for answering that. So it seems like it's being aware of what serves us or what doesn't serve us, and being able to set boundaries and some rules for ourselves of
Yeah.
what we are getting into and what we are not getting into. And that will give us a much healthier aura and limit the risk of having a lot of blockages in our chakras. Do I understand that correctly?
You certainly do.
Okay,
Absolutely.
fantastic. Can you give us, at the end of this very insightful conversation that I'm sure is a new topic for many people, some 2 or 3 biggest tips in terms of, as a Reiki master, in terms of what can we do other than setting those boundaries and other than trusting intuition, in order to have a healthier, happier life?
Okay, well, I think one of the most regular pieces of advice I give is to stay in the present moment. Because many of my customers, when they start having blockages and issues, they start projecting into what if this happens, and then that goes into and what if and what if and what if. Okay, people also have fears about what's going on in the world,
Mhm.
but there's nothing that they can do about most of those situations.
Yeah,
So, you know, protecting your own inner peace is very important, and staying in the present moment, being able to say, this is me, this is my life,
yeah,
where am I right now? What do I need to do for my own inner peace and happiness is essential. You
yeah.
know,
Taking
do
responsibility, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, if you are worried by world events, then why sit there scrolling on your phone all day? Why watch the news, you know, obsessively every 5 minutes? You know, limit what you can see about the outside world, because nothing's going to change whether you see it or not.
Mm.
The world goes on.
Mm.
You know, so if we all looked after our energy and we stayed in the present moment and did what we need to do, the world would undoubtedly be a better place.
That's a lovely advice. I just had a thought coming at the end that I would like to
Please do.
share.
Excuse me.
Um,
Yeah.
um, Most of you guys watching this probably don't realize that when we focus on thinking about something, we can be, there could be two people and they could be looking the same direction. And one person will see one thing and another person will see something completely different. And our awareness of who we are and our inner filters, which is our life experience. Basically, our life experience gave us those filters that we wear. It's like sunglasses. We see the world through those different colored glasses. And one person will see depression and misery and poverty, and another person will see a wonderful opportunity for building connection with another human, or a chance to love someone, or an opportunity to give them a little gift or share a joke together, right? So remember that you are the creators of your life experience, and you could
Absolutely.
be looking at what seems a really hopeless situation, but by choosing to focus on the positive aspects of how that could serve you, how that situation, that event, that person could serve you, what it could teach you, what's beautiful in it, and seeing it as a lesson, life lesson, could be really transformative. And that could start a brand new way of being if you continue that a little bit every day, right? And before you know it, you've mastered your own mind and you have created some really supportive beliefs, such as people are here to support me in what I'm already good at, or people notice my value that I bring to the world, right? So I wish you, Taya and myself, wish you best of luck in that
We
journey.
do. We
Um,
do indeed.
Thaya, thank you so much for joining this great conversation today. I'll make sure I include a link to your profile underneath this video for anybody who would like to make a booking for the Reiki session. And we wish you all the best and we hope to see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.